Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I just got a few DC updates for you, including Superman Lois, where they're going to start shooting. Legends of Tomorrow, what's the update on that? And a box office analyst predicts a new Wonder Woman 1984 theatrical release date. Also, Pixar's Soul moves to Disney Plus. A lot of people are questioning Wonder Woman 1984 after that decision. And then the Marvel's multiverse idea. How is that great for DC? But before all that, I have to thank my newest member of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you so much to Dr. Fate for joining the Ping Pong Flix Show family. Any idea if any of the other Justice Society are going to join as well? That would be fantastic. And along with the rest of the Ping Pong Flix Show family, thank you so much for being literally the lifeline of the Ping Pong Flix Show. All you guys and girls, thank you so much for joining in. And like I said, if you join and we reach 100 members, we will have a random prize drawing for the members of the Ping Pong Flix Show. But also, I have to thank the subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the Ping Pong Flix Show. When we reach 15,000 subscribers, I will hold a random prize drawing for all 15,000 subscribers on that video. Comment on that video, and you'll be randomly picked for some awesome DC merch, which I just ordered from Amazon, and some Ping Pong Flix merch as well. All right, now on to the news. The first news of the day is Superman and Lois is back in Smallville. Now, you may have already known this, but it sounds like the people over there at Cloverdale, Vancouver are pretty happy. They actually put an article out, Hollywood North, Superman is coming home to Cloverdale, Vancouver, which a lot of the production, all CWs are pretty much are in Vancouver, and you'll see soon enough. But that's awesome to see that place become another Smallville set, just like how it was for 10 seasons of Smallville. So we'll probably recognize a few areas. I don't know if they're really going to make it look like the original Smallville back in, the Tom Welling Smallville, but that'll be pretty cool to see that. Hey, you never know. I mean, I know I said that Tom Welling said that he wasn't going to come back and that no one's called him, and he's probably never going to put the suit on again. But hey, this may be an opportunity since the set looks the same. Fly him in for a few shots, some type of small little crossover event with Tom Welling. You don't even have to put the suit on. We already know you don't want to put the suit on, but put on the same flannel. That's it, and that'll be pretty cool for all the Smallville fans out there, including myself. So that is Superman and Lois. The next CW show that's also filming Vancouver is Legends of Tomorrow. Apparently, they've already started filming season 6 or started in production of season 6. This is coming from Hollywood North Buzz. He says, Legends of Tomorrow, which started filming season 6 today in Vancouver, after a few days delay, has a shoot in Gastown on October 13th. Thank you so much to Jordan Van Music for putting up that notice of filming to let us all know when Legends Tomorrow is filming. One person is definitely excited for Legends of Tomorrow. Matt Ryan, the infamous Matt Ryan, pretty much people's fan favorite for Constantine right now. Every time I talk about Constantine, they're like, just get Matt Ryan. I'm like, well, I love Keanu Reeves, but I get it. Matt Ryan does look like Constantine, so why not? He is in the building for Legends season 6. As he says right there, here we go, season 6, Legends of Tomorrow, Constantine. So he's pretty stoked and happy about that. Now on to DC movie news. The first topic for DC movie news is, this is coming from comicbook.com. Box office analyst predicts Wonder Woman 1984 already on its 6th release date will be delayed again, this time to June 2021. So I'm going to read to you what he says. This is coming from Sean Robbins, chief analyst at Box Office Pro, and he told this to The Observer. Optimistically, there's a window for a big tentpole around the President's and Valentine's Day holiday weekend in February, since Marvel's Eternals vacated that spot. That could be a good fit if the fall and winter fight against the virus goes better than expected, and New York, alongside Los Angeles, reopen theaters by then. Right? But a Disney shuffle moved Eternals off of its February 12th date and later into 2021. There's now a next summer slot for Wonder Woman 1984, following a freshly announced delay for Universal's Jurassic World Dominion, which will roar to life 1 year later in June of 2022. Perhaps more realistically, June 11 looks like a great spot, Robin said. Universal just left that weekend wide open with Jurassic World Dominion delayed to 2022. It would allow a 2-week gap after Fast 9 and a 2-week head start on the Venom sequel, both of which will predominantly male-driven anyway. It's also part of the early summer corridor where the first Wonder Woman enjoyed so much success. So that could happen. That is just one box office analyst predicting if Wonder Woman 1984 is going to continue to try and capture that theatrical audience without going to streaming, that would be his best bet. It sounds like almost everybody really thinks that it's not going to make it to December 25th of this year, which is sad because I would definitely love to see it this year if possible. And so a lot of analysts are predicting right now that it's going to move elsewhere. And so June 11th is this analyst's prediction for Wonder Woman 1984. But that's not all, really, because something else happened today from another studio. Pixar's Soul moves to Disney Plus, prompting questions about Wonder Woman 1984. And I'm going to read you this from Luis Fernando. And that's it. As many of us heard of, Disney is finally officially moving Pixar's Soul straight to streaming on Disney Plus. But curiously, the debut will happen on December 25th, going head-to-head with Wonder Woman 1984 if it's still going in theaters. If Wonder Woman 1984 stays in the current release, of course. Worthy to reminder, of course, in countries where Disney Plus isn't available, Soul will open in theaters, exactly as happened with Mulan. But the main markets for Pixar animations, Japan, Latin America, and Europe, all will have Disney Plus by then, so don't expect any box office miracle. And this brings up that conversation of Wonder Woman 1984. Even Boris Kitt from The Hollywood Reporter said that all eyes on Wonder Woman 1984. We talked about yesterday where Patty Jenkins says it's definitely they're definitely going to go to the theatrical part, but she also said correct to the tweet from before, mistaken or not. The tweet from before and the article said that it's going to have a half-half. It's going to be direct to streaming and direct to theaters. So that's a possibility right there that it could definitely go to digital in the United States and go to theaters outside the United States, like how they did with Mulan. Now, I understand Wonder Woman 1984 is a bigger tentpole film than Pixar's Soul, but for Disney to understand that they're going to have to move Soul, make it to digital streaming over in the United States and put it in theaters outside, and doing something different than Mulan by putting it free onto Disney Plus, free if you have Disney Plus. I think they understand, and I think studios will look up to that and say, you know what, that might be a great idea. So that's why all eyes are on Wonder Woman 1984, like Boris Kitt says. Not only do they probably need to move the theatrical release date for Wonder Woman 1984, because children will they'll go to see Soul, but since there's so limited theaters and the selection of, that people want to see in the same weekend, it's rather small for the mainstream. A lot of times you don't want these kind of tent poles to collide with one another. And Pixar is pretty much always going to get that $1 billion all the time. And so their opening weekends are pretty huge. Wonder Woman 1984 needs to be pretty huge as well. So I'm going to say, yeah, I think Wonder Woman 1984 is probably going to move that release date for theatrical somewhere else. But with what they're doing, Disney is doing it like twice now, having Mulan have digital streaming or PVOD, premium VOD over in America and theatrical outside the United States. And now they're going to do that with Soul as well. I think they have something going there, and I think they're kind of they're taking one for the team. I know that's my title from last video, but they're kind of taking one for the team to show that other studios that this may be the way it's supposed to go. So don't be surprised if Wonder Woman 1984 may or may not, they could still go to that June 11 spot that box office analyst had says, or they could do the same thing, go to digital, PVOD over here in America and go straight to theaters outside America, international box office, right? So yeah, definitely what Boris Kid has says, all eyes on Wonder Woman 1984. We finally have some kind of update for Black Adam. No, Black Adam has not stopped production. Even though they don't have a scheduled release, it doesn't mean they can't go into production. So they're still trying to find their way, right? And so this is coming out today. Sarah Shahi offered a role in Black Adam. This is coming from the Illuminati, and like I said, it's not been confirmed. I don't think she has been cast yet. If it is, this is not like the Aldous Hodge situation where like 10 minutes later he confirmed it himself and Dwayne Johnson confirmed it too. But it's possible. The upcoming DC Extended Universe Black Adam has found their leading actress in ISIS. While nothing is finalized at this time, an offer from Warner Brothers is on the table. Black Adam is one of the most exciting superhero movies in development right now, although it is still relatively early in developmental process, with casting beginning trickle only recently. The film will tell the story of Teth Adam while bringing the Justice Society of America into the DCEU. Additionally, it will tell the story of Adriana Tomaz, a Middle Eastern woman who would become the superhero known as Isis, and eventually Black Adam's partner and wife. Tomaz was a slave traded to Black Adam, ruler of Kahndaq. He killed her slavers, freed her, and ultimately fell in love with a strong, compassionate woman. She eventually came to possess the amulet of the goddess Isis, which granted her powers akin to Black Adam's, with some control over nature thrown in for good measure. And it says here that Tomaz will play a pivotal role in Black Adam, serving as both the female lead and love interest to the title character. DC has offered the role to Sarah Shahi, person of interest, Reverie, and the Rookie. Shahi is an actress and formal NFL cheerleader and actually has a bit of experience in the superhero genre. She voiced Killer Frost in the Young Justice episode Terrors. Whether or not she takes on the role remains to be seen. However, one must consider that this would be easily her biggest role yet. And according to Illuminati, the role will require an actress with the chops to play a mother, a hero, and partner to a brutal anti-hero. We'll find out if she takes on the role as Isis or someone else will. And hopefully we get confirmations for that, including Dr. Fate. I kind of want to know who Dr. Fate is. I want to know Dr. Fate. I want to know who Cyclone is. Let's get them all cast. Let's get them all together. And hopefully, even though they don't have release date, at least they could get into production, throw in Henry Cavill as Superman, something like that. That would be pretty awesome. Right, Dwayne Johnson? Get it together. Now, my next topic actually does have some Marvel in it, so don't get triggered, but I want to tell you a little bit about how this situation could really be useful to DC and so on and so forth. Marvel's Multiverse is great for DC, and you're like, how? What are you talking about? Well, this is the news that came out today. Benedict Cumberbatch joined Spider-Man 3 as Doctor Strange. And so it really doesn't say more in this other than that he's probably going to be a mentor to Spidey this time around because, Tony Stark is gone. But they also clue in that, this could be a event piece because we have Jamie Foxx returning as Electro from a different Spider-Man universe. He may not be playing the same Electro, but it's still Jamie Foxx as Electro. And so with the idea that Doctor Strange was going to have a movie coming out called Multiverse of Madness, they are really, really, truly exploring the multiverse universe. And I think this is a fantastic thing, that Kevin Feige is looking at his Marvel universe and saying, we need to shake it up a little bit, right? And this is nothing new. I mean, he already put out Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. In Endgame, he showed you how there's different timelines splitting off, branching off. We're going to get the Loki series, WandaVision, Captain, Winter Soldier and Captain Falcon. And that's going to happen. That's part of their kind of multiverse idea. And it's not new. Multiverse idea is not even new in comics. It's been in the comics. It's been in Marvel and DC comics for many, many years. But I would want to say that probably the first in recent memory, the first iteration of something that has a multiverse in it, and we really have to thank the Crisis, right? And before Crisis too. I mean, in 2016, Flash had an episode called Flashpoint, and after it was called Paradox. And so they already had that notion of multiverse. And like I said, this is not the birth of the multiverse idea, but it is kind of the start of a live action multiverse, right? And I think Smallville had a little bit about that too, but I'm talking about recent years in a way that it could affect the multiverse idea in the cinematic universes, or whether it's Marvel or DC. Kevin Feige is realizing that he needs to be better, and what better is to adopt the multiverse into his cinematic universe as well. He realizes that Marvel is getting dry. After Endgame, there was really nothing big that he could probably go into. Yes, he could get Fantastic Four. Yes, he can get the X-Men in it, but he needed to do more, right? And I don't know if he knew that DC was going to go into the multiverse or not. He clearly probably knows that they were doing it in the CW universe for a while now, and he probably said, in order to expand storylines and not just be on a fixed canon, I need to build the multiverse. And this is fantastic because it just gives audience more to look forward to and understand, right? They don't have to rely on DC to understand what multiverse is. They can rely on DC over in CW. They can rely on Marvel to tell them what the multiverse's idea is. And it just shows you that Marvel sees this idea as a good idea, as a business decision. $1 billion company over in Disney just said that multiverse is a great idea to do live action this time. Let's do it. Let's go right into it. We got Spider-Verse. Sony also did it as well, Into the Spider-Verse. So they realized there's a huge potential in doing multiple versions of Spider-Man, possibly multiple versions of Iron Man, and multiple versions of Captain America, multiple versions of Flash, Batman. It's okay. It doesn't hold back creativity. It actually explores more creativity. And so this is the idea. This is great for both companies. Like I said, competition is always good, right? It's always better to try to be better than another company, because if both companies are complacent and they don't think they're competing with each other, they don't feel like competing with each other, we're not going to get anything new. We're not going to get anything innovative. We're not going to get any awesomeness. We're not going to get to the point that we're going to get to see comic books actually come to life. But now we get to have that opportunity because of this multiverse idea that all these companies are finally sharing together. They're seeing a kind of dwindling effect where if we continue on a path of just one canon, then we're not going to grow. We're not going to capture different audiences. Why don't we have multiple canons in the movies? Why don't we have multiple canons in the streaming services? Why don't we have multiple canons on TV? It's okay. They are finally realizing that we're smart enough to understand where all this goes. We're smart enough to understand what's connected to what, and if they actually do it correctly, we'll really understand what's going on, who's connected to who, which universe is which universe. I think they realize that we're smart enough to understand, and it's great to see people like Kevin Feige, who's over at Marvel, and trying to expand that way, because now DC is going to look at that and says, all right, well, looks like that was a great idea after all, Jim Lee, because even Marvel's doing it now. Marvel's the same way. Looks like that was a great idea. Now even they're doing it now. It goes back and forth. It's great to look at the studios looking at each other and try to compete with each other and try to do the right thing. Try to make more content, varied content, innovative content for the consumers. Us. Who's winning here? We are. We're winning. This is amazing, right? There will come a time when both studios are going to look at each other and says, we got to do something, because comic book movies, we've done it all. We've done Your Kingdom Come. We've done Galactus. We've done X-Men versus Avengers. We've done this and that. You never know. Someday, it might not be in my lifetime, but someday when they've exhausted everything and they have not given up or rebooted their ideas, one day we could definitely get a DC versus Marvel Comics. One day, if they've exhausted everything, like, I mean, everything, they're going to look at each other and says, we have to put a spark back into the comic book genre. And this maybe even like 20 years from now, I'm just saying, Marvel versus DC, it could happen. Like that one shared universe, it could definitely happen. And I think that would be pretty fantastic. Like I said, the fans are winning. The fans are winning. And I got to say, no matter what you think about the CW, we weren't going to get the multiverse idea unless the CW had done it first. And when CW done it, it just sparks something in Jim Lee's mind and says, you know what? Wait a minute. Like, he already knows about multiverse. He's already in, of course, because he's DC. But having him realize that it's possible to do in a live action form and people understand it. In fact, people embrace it, right? And that's why we had that. That's why we had Ezra Miller's Flash into that universe. Also gives a open invitation to Zack Snyder to complete his Snyderverse as well. So this is a fantastic thing that Marvel is doing this. It just solidifies to the suits over at DC, over at Warner Brothers, that they're also looking at this multiverse idea as a viable future business plan. And that's what we want all studios to think, to have faith in the nerds. Have faith in the nerds so that us nerds can win, and we be winning. I promise you, we be winning. I'm so optimistic for DC right now. I'm so glad to have embraced everything. Like Jim Lee has pretty much embraced everything DC, and I'm not telling you all to embrace it. You can pick and choose whichever DC you want to follow. Go right ahead. The options are there. Snyderverse can totally explore. I'm really optimistic we're going to get Justice League 2 and 3. And, you know, one day Warner Brothers is probably going to do their own Justice League. They're going to do multiverses of Justice League. Who knows? We could probably even have, at the end of the row, a crisis event over on the DCEU. How cool is that? How cool is that? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is it for today. I want to thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you love this daily dose of DC content, please click the like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. Keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time. Bye.